Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Build The RedBull RB7. Today I bring issue 54 where we'll be installing the second rear shock absorber to the rear of our RedBull RB7. In the magazine today we have 1975, Lauder takes his first title. We've got a profile here on Niki Lauda himself. We've got the 1975 Drivers' Championship where Niki Lauda won in his Ferrari on 64.5 points. We've got the technical specification of Niki Lauda's Ferrari 312T and our parts for this week's issue. We've got our shock absorber body, we've got our shock absorber spring, we've got our shock absorber shaft, we've got E-rings, we've got a spring holder, a spring spacer, a upper spring holder, a shock absorber top, a diaphragm, a shock piston, and a ball end. So we've got 35 steps of instructions here. Okay, this is clearly one of the biggest of the series so far. And yeah guys, so let's get stuck into that. Okay, for the assembly of your second shock absorber, you're going to need a set of pliers and a Phillips head screwdriver. Either your factory given out oil or your aftermarket silicon shock absorber or diff oil. Okay, so you want to grab your shock absorber shaft and your E-ring, then using a set of pliers, clip it onto the shaft like such. Next you want to grab your piston and you want to slide it onto the shock absorber shaft. You want to grab your remaining E-ring and clip it onto the shaft so it now sits like that. Next up you want to thread the shock absorber shaft through the shock absorber body. Using your pliers, hold the shaft and then screw on the ball end. Holding the shock absorber top, place it through the shock absorber cap, which was removed from the shock absorber body. Holding the shock absorber body, pour in your factory oil or pour in your aftermarket silicon-based oil. Grab your diaphragm and place it face down like such. Grab your shock absorber cap and thread it on to the shock absorber body. Get a cloth and wipe away any excess. Okay, next, holding it like so, place your spring spacer over the shock absorber. Now fit the upper spring holder and then finish it off with the lower spring holder. With a little brute force, it should look something like that. Okay, so you want to grab both of your shocks and your shock mount. So you want to attach your shock absorber to the shock mount with the spring spacers facing the center of the car. And should look something like that. So you want to grab your shock mount screws and tuck the right hand shock absorber down under the wishbone and then the left one down under the wishbone so the shock absorber mount lines up on its allocated holes. Now grab your shock absorber mount screws, thread them both in and screw them down nice and tight like so. So now that the shock absorber mount is attached to the RedBull RB7, you want to connect your shock absorbers to the lower rear wishbones by connecting the ball end to the ball-ended screw. You want to do the same on the opposite side, and that completes the rear shock absorber assembly of your RedBull RB7. So that concludes issue 54 of Build The RedBull RB7. Up next we have issue 55 where we have the main shaft, an E-ring and a ball bearing. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave you with a few photos of the RedBull RB7's completed shock absorber assembly with the rear wheels installed. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Bye bye.